I'm Jane Gazzo from Max TV at Foxtel. I've got a radio background and I've done these listening panels before. They're a lot of fun. And we won't, if they're really bad or if we think they're really bad, we probably won't play more than 10 to 45 seconds worth of it. So it's going to be interesting. We have no idea who has submitted their demos or their songs. We know nothing about it and we don't get told either. So it's pretty easy. Just quickly, Chelsea from PBS.
Nikki Reid.
Nikki. Of course. My notes tell me. Nikki, director of Sugar Mountain. Okay, what's Sugar Mountain?
A festival in Melbourne.
All right. Indra?
Indra, run a booking agency and touring company and publicity group called Singhala Music and shows in space.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, Forrester Saville, music producer.
All right.
I'm Chelsea
You're
Wilson,
Chelsea from PBS.
music manager at PBS.
I'm Scott Horscroft from EMI and Records and music producer.
All right, so that's your panel as it stands. There will be more people, but I figure we should get on with it. So is there one ready to go? Okay, let's press play, guys. I think I've pressed play.
Lying in my bed with only the thoughts of you running through my head, and wishing they just think I'm so over being lonely. I wish you'd take back the things you said, that maybe I could be happy again. My fear isn't falling, but falling back into your arms. I should have read the warnings. Maybe then I'd be done no harm.
We want a chorus, guys? Are we waiting for a chorus?
Every photograph of you I ever had, I will watch burn, just like the hole that you burned through my heart. You started this fire.
Thank you. Thoughts? Martin Adkins, latecomer to the panel. Former member of Killing Joke, full-time member of Pigface, your own band.
Could I not be the first person to comment?
Okay, I'm going straight to you, Scott.
Sounded really well recorded.
Well recorded,
Sounded very well recorded.
says the producer.
Oh, sorry, that's what this thing is.
I'm sorry, could you speak into your mic? I couldn't hear what you said.
Sounded very well recorded, which is obviously a good start in this process. You could really hear the lyrics when it was turned up. Not my genre of music, I have to say, but on the whole sounded like it was really presented well.
Anything else anyone wants to add? And we'll go to the next one.
Again, yeah, recorded well. Had a kind of Iris Dement, Casey Chambers thing going on. Pretty ready for commercial radio. Not a band that I probably usually work with, but it was all there.
Forrester?
Yeah, no, so she sounded like she was a great singer and you could hear the lyrics and it sounded like the emotion was there and the passion was in what she was doing. So, yeah, I thought it was really good.
Nice jangly guitar sound. Yep, nice vocal performance. Thought it sounded nice.
Could anybody else hear the vocals up a bit, maybe? I mean, it's not my genre either. But
I'm not sure if it's because the speakers are facing that way, not us. I'm wondering, it's the thing I'm not getting the full mix. Don't want to be a diva or anything. Can I get my mic up a little bit? You know,
even though the vocals were were there that did feel like they were quite doubled and shrouded in maybe, you know, a lot of reverb. It didn't feel ultra personal, did it? It felt distant.
I'd move the fader an inch.
I just think maybe a little bit too produced. I would prefer a little bit of a rawer sound, but I think as a pop country sounding produced track, then it definitely fit in that genre really nicely.
All right, whoever's that was, well done. And going first as well, it's always hard.
Whose was it?
Who was it?
It was me.
All right, the next one, we'll try and make this really loud this time.
Crank it up.
Oh, I'm terrified we'll lose everything, for this conversation's not going anywhere. Oh, coward, who you calling names? I'm the criminal, so take me in till I'm done. Take me in till I am found. And I'm terrified of what you'll find. Underneath it all, just a simple man. Just like you, I'm afraid of this dying truth, that I'll kick my bucket without aiming. Take me in till I'm done. Take me in till I'm found.
Welcome, latecomer Dom Alessio from Triple J.
Sorry.
You get to go first now. What do you think
Oh,
of that?
no.
That's your penance.
I don't even know who it was.
You don't need to. Tell us what you thought.
Oh, okay. It kind of had that... Shit. Making a dick of myself already. It kind of had that Busby Maru vibe about it. Yeah, I mean, like, the moments I heard, just, like, catching that tail end of it, sounded really nice. You know, I always find that kind of folk a really hard thing because we're flooded with that at the moment, and I guess it all depends. And this, I guess, is a broader statement on all the songs we'll hear today. It really depends on what you want to do with your music. If your ultimate goal is to be Australia's biggest artist, it's harder because that market has been so flooded. But if you just want to make a comfortable living by touring around Australia, you know, playing a whole bunch of regional dates. Busby Maru, a great example of a band who can go to the smallest town in Australia and pull a really great crowd. And to me, hearing that music, it's like, if I was at a pub on a Sunday afternoon, that would be perfect.
Dave Ruby Howe, Triple J Unearthed. You're late too. You get to comment.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I agree with Dom. You know, with Unearthed, we get a bit of everything, and certainly we're not struggling for roots and folk. And I really like that sort of percussion. It might have been just like a thumb on a guitar or something like that. That really stuck out to me, and that sort of gives it a bit of drive. And I mean, there's sort of a line with Unearthed with what we'll play in terms of roots, if it feels like it's appropriate for us, or maybe it's more appropriate for Dig, we might make a line call on that, and that's probably quite smooth. Maybe not you know, the kind of thing we'd be putting on Unearthed Radio, but certainly accomplished, no doubt about that.
Anyone else want to say anything before we move on to the next one, Martin?
Well, see, part of my whole equation is that sounded great. But if they're lazy assholes that don't connect with their audience, it's over and they're fucked. You know. So any comments I make, that I think going out and doing it overrides the immediacy of how it sounds. You can make up the difference. It might take you 2 years to make up the difference, but that's a factor in there for me.
Did we consensually like it all? Are we agreeing that we liked it, or
it was really
didn't think
well
much of
done?
It? Yeah, we all liked it? All right, anyone else got anything to say? All right, go on to the next one.
Who was it? Well done.
Slapjack sitting by the old gum tree. Never had a kind word for you or me.
very Australian, I thought. Did you guys agree with that?
Seekers, yeah, it sounds like the Seekers.
The new Seekers.
Yeah, I think it could, possibly get some spins on PBS, maybe on our homebrew Australian music program or one of our, rootsy singer-songwriter kind of programs. I think, it had a nice, honest sound to it.
For a show like mine, for Home and Hosed, I guess I approach my show and I approach the music that I play with my show. I try to be as open as possible, and I feel really privileged to have a show where I get to stretch the boundaries. But ultimately, for me, I have to think about what would somebody who's between the ages of 16 and 24 think of this kind of music. For me, that's probably a little too old sounding for a show like mine. I think it's accomplished, but it's a sound that's been done before. And if you really want to break out, it's fine to mine the classics, but it's putting your own individual twist on it. Like someone like Mumford & Sons is an example of a band who, there's obvious influences, but they're a little twist on it. Fleet Foxes is basically Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young with a bit more reverb. And the reverb is what made, that Fleet Foxes record, plus the amazing harmony. So for me, it's good, but I think there would be a swathe of other stuff that is just as good. And, you are competing, as Dave said before in his debate, we get 700 songs a week uploaded to Triple J Unearthed. And so you have to rise above the crowd, and you have to find something individual about your sound that will connect with an audience.
Okay.
Am I going to be the one who just sits here and just
You're
says
doing
all
a great,
that?
you're doing a great job.
It is super competitive. At PBS we get about 450 to 500 new titles per month, and probably, between 5 and 10 copies of each title. So there's quite a lot of stock each month that I listen to and process. And there's only so many minutes, so many hours of a day that we have the opportunity to broadcast. So, even if you are pitching for an Australian music program, there's hundreds and hundreds of things. So you want to make your tracks that you're pitching really stand out as much as you can.
So we like it, but not breaking new ground we're feeling here. Is that fair to say with that one that we just said? All right. Whose was it?
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No one wants to own up. That's all right. We'll go on to the next one.
It's easy to get caught up and lost in the drama. Every time I do it makes my head hurting. Reflecting off a pool that is filled with our karma. Really, why on earth did you come here? I'm thinking that it took quite a long while. So I'm paying homage to eternity. All I know is what makes me happy. Everything I do won't always break, but every road I walk down leads me back to
you. Started off really promising. I'm thinking DIY piano, toy piano, something very grabbing about that in the first kind of 30 seconds.
And then what?
And then it kind of lost me. Did it lose you guys too?
I quite like the voice. I mean, it's a little bit different. Not the world's greatest singer, but there's a great tone about that. And, that's when you're a singer. I mean, we've probably all watched at least an episode of Australian Idol and The Voice, and you hear these people who can sing, but there's not a fantastic tone about their voice. And for some people, it's a great tone and not necessarily being the most amazing singer. I really like the voice, and for me, there's promise in that. That song is all right, but I don't know. You're right, after that 30 seconds, it just kind of
veered to Nowheresville.
Yeah.
What do you think, Scott, from a production point of view?
Look, definitely didn't feel like it was something that was completely finalised. But, it didn't really go anywhere straight away. But, hey, I thought we faded it out quite early. But,
You want to hear more? We can hear more?
No, look, I think we'll get... No, I mean...
I want to be fair here.
Yeah.
People are putting their
I guess what I'm trying to say
is
as you said, it was intriguing to start with. The voice had a nice tone. Who knows where it was going to go? Songs sometimes don't, happen in the first 20 seconds.
Sounds like the artist has got potential. Like there's more to this. Rather than this song, there's more to that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more on offer that may come from other songs or in the future.
I was immediately intrigued by the voice. Right? It was like, oh, hello. It wasn't. It wasn't overly produced. I think it could have used a bit more production, some guidance. The tuning started to go off towards the end there, but that someone can just say, "Hey, go again, asshole! You're out of tune," you know, and
We were in a rush. I was doing it for free in the vocal tape. I didn't have a lot of time.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Well,
but there's an intriguing quality. I would take intrigue over polish, and it could have been better. And I thought there was some parts where the vocals tailed off. I could hear more compression on it, lifting it up. But then that would exacerbate the problems that we heard.
I'm just a real stickler for singing in tune and having your guitars also in tune. And sometimes I get releases and I go, what? Like, really? I know you might be time poor or whatever, but just tune your guitars first. And if you can't sing in tune, maybe get some lessons. I'm not saying you can't sing in tune, but just anyone out there, maybe have some singing lessons before you hit the studio. Or
so you're a Beatles over Stones girl then?
Or, use auto-tune afterwards. I mean, why not?
Hey.
If you really can't sing in tune.
That one.
That was
the toe
a lot
tap
of
of that one.
Yeah. Sounded like they were maybe still holding back a little bit, like it wasn't as full and as fun as that could have been. But yeah, I liked it.
Indra?
Yeah, a fair bit of energy. It had that kind of Britpop sort of feel. You could imagine it on a sports girl ad or something. In a good way. In a good way.
I wasn't thinking that.
It was good. It sounds like a really good live band. It sounds like something to have a lot of energy.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing a lot of that sort of stuff on Unearth at the moment feels very maybe Melbourne and Sydney. A lot of bands like Magic Bones and Deadheads coming out with that sort of stuff. So it's certainly a sound I'm hearing a lot. It's maybe a bit too direct than I would like. I feel like I've heard it before, even though I knew that I hadn't. So I don't know if that's good or a bad thing.
Feels like staggering drunk out of the Cherry Bar later Saturday night.
Good time band.
I definitely iron to that.
Wow. What exactly you'd iron?
I don't know, but I could see myself ironing to it.
Music to do housework to, kids. Whose was it? Well done.
That song before, but I recognise that voice, and I really like that song. But can I out the guy? He used to sing in a band called the Treetops. Someone may have worked with that band before, but known for very layered sort of Beach Boy-esque harmonies and really thick.
I don't know about you, but I was hearing early 90s indie.
Yeah, maybe
90s,
not that song, but the others, yeah.
Indie early 90s, not the grunge side of things.
Are these songs all getting faded out at the same time?
Yeah, 45 seconds.
So it didn't get to where it was going, did it?
No, exactly. It sounded like there was going to be a good chorus there.
There's a lesson right there.
But one thing, we should, if we're liking it and we're hearing it fade down, feel free. Like, if you want to hear more, I think
Well, that's on them, isn't it?
True that.
You've got 13 seconds on YouTube.
Well, look, when I was at Triple J, when Arnold Follows used to do those music meetings, we had 30 seconds to make up our minds whether we were going to keep listening to that track or not, and that's for national radio. And if we didn't like it, it was out.
Doesn't that make everything formulaic? Isn't that not what art is supposed to be about?
See, I would say yes, but I would counter it by saying, take a friend who has no interest in music and no connections in music, sit them in a car and turn on the radio. No, what I'm saying is that 30 seconds is quite a long time when you sit with somebody who doesn't generally like music. We're all biased. You're here, so you're biased because you love music. But the general population, take or leave music. They will give you 5 seconds in the car and turn you off.
It's a commercial radio attitude though, right? Surely.
No, it's the nature of people. You know, people, I love my girlfriend, but she will listen to a song and be like, nah, and flick it over. Doesn't care who it's by, they don't care about your backstory, you know. All they want to be is grabbed by that song.
So YouTube, if you look at the YouTube Creator Playbook, which is based on Google's algorithms and 1 million minutes of video being uploaded and watched every hour, you've got 13 seconds. If it helps, it's like having sex with me. You've got 13 seconds. That's what you get. Right, and that's just the way it is. And it's 13 seconds is a lifetime.
And when you're going through hundreds and hundreds, I see your point, and I completely agree, and I know where you're coming from. But it's like these guys said, when you've got 50,000 CDs to listen to, and you've got to make decisions about what gets playlisted and what doesn't, you want to be grabbed by the horns. You don't want to
so sad though, isn't it? Sad that we don't get
another 4 minutes and this might kick in. Do you know what I mean?
So it's like we're not even critiquing the song here, we're critiquing the sound.
No, but to me, we're still doubly more generous than your average person. And ultimately, that's who you have to impress if you want to make a career in music. No, we can't. We cannot. You've got like 8 billion people, or however many people. No.
Think of all the great art that's being neglected and lost because we're not giving it 14 seconds. You know, all the good songs that are out there because you don't give it a chance to get to that next chorus that we missed
listen to
out
14
on.
seconds of any Beatles song and you'll be listening. That's an amazing riff at the start, so I'd keep listening.
No, but 4 years or 8 years into Led Zeppelin or 3 albums into Bruce Springsteen, who's about to get dropped, right? They find a way to leverage. Radio didn't. Whoever Springsteen's label was said that Born to Run is not a hit, so they gave it to a station anyway, leaked it, and they made it happen. They weren't relying on any people like us to make it happen for them. So the question isn't, would we listen to Stairway to Heaven? The question is there a band like Led Zeppelin who just keep fucking going and not quit and push and make it happen for themselves? Really, isn't it?
Oppan Gangnam Style.
This is shit, let's turn it off.
Immediately we can't really understand what he's saying. The lyrics are a little unclear.
This will never be a hit.
I want to say that I think that's an amazing song because most people who listen to it cannot understand a single word he's saying, but it's connected all across the world. That's like another debate for another time.
That's 20 years of K-pop. Just doing it. And then he said, I don't know why I was reading an interview with the guy who tried like 9 dances before he came to that dance. It wasn't just this random silly dance from an idiot. It was like researched.
So what we're saying is obviously a really great novelty dance with your song will work wonders. Yeah. Although, to be
He's
fair,
been around a long time.
Psy has been around, he's 8 albums in, so in Korea.
Overnight
But
sensation.
you can't be. Everyone in K-pop is extremely good looking, and he's actually an anomaly. Like, not
he's the
in
elder
a kind of
statesman as
traditional,
well.
perfectly proportioned way.
Anyway, we should get on with
anyway.
the task at hand.
You're cute and you're smart, but you're really not funny. Every joke you make is awkward, baby. You're kind and polite, but sometimes too honest. Blunt as a spoon into my heart, baby. We don't really get to choose just how this story ends, but I kinda like the optimism in unwritten endings, 'cause all you want is all.
Initial thoughts, first things that come to your mind?
Quite slow moving, especially for this panel and this situation. I thought she had a lovely voice, and there's obviously a lot of thought gone into that temperament that she was going for. It felt like she was achieving what she was after, but again, tough to see where that was going to go.
As a piece of music, it sucked me in. I was listening to it. I think it was really good, well recorded.
There was a definite mood to it. There was a vibe to that.
There was something Birdie-esque about that. Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Birdie? Yeah?
Yeah.
I felt...
Women at a piano, I mean, it sounded great. Her voice was great, but I was just waiting for it to become Adele. In a way, there's a bit of that familiarity with anybody who's doing that at the moment. And that's just because that song and Adele just went supernova. You can't get out of that shadow, almost.
Martin?
I loved the melancholy tone to it, and I'd like to have heard the vocals louder,
Yeah, they kind of got buried at some point, didn't they? Kind of could hear the piano a little bit too much.
There's a plague of people doing their own stuff. It's great, but I think lots of vocalists will always hear the vocal in their head and mix the vocal down a bit. You just always got to push it, and if you don't believe me, just do another version and push it, and people will always choose that one.
You don't want the band to sound small though either, or the piano to start sounding small. It is hard getting that balance. Yeah, I thought it sounded good.
Good work. Anyone want to own up to it? Well done. Hope you wrote notes furiously then.
Yeah. In about 5 more seconds, there's the drums begin.
Oh.
Because I would never, none of the other songs kind of have that much piano. Just piano. So yeah. Anyone want to buy an EP?
I'll buy an EP from you just because you asked. I'll fucking buy one from you. Can I just say, what a horrifying idea for a panel.
What's that?
This idea. Hey, who was in the audience who we just slagged on their, their first child? It's, I think everybody's being really nice. Really, even though you think they might not. Everybody's being really nice.
Do you want us not to be nice? I don't want to not be nice.
No, I don't want to not be nice. No. Just saying.
looks I see are still receiving.
Well, we had to fast forward the long intro. Sorry about that. It kind of started then with the vocal. I'm not getting much here.
I'll jump in then, shall I? That's the first thing I've heard that sounded to me like it was in its own world.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It sounded unlike anything that we've heard.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way. And it felt like, oh, here it goes off the cliff, and then it didn't, and he saved it and pulled it back into tune and did this thing. I was kind of intrigued by it.
I was intrigued by the accent. It sounded, I couldn't work out if it was Irish or something. Some New Zealand, right? Yeah. That's what I heard. Dom, is that something you would have played on your show if you had just heard that and gone, yeah, that's good, that's passable, I'll play that on the show, give it a spin?
No, probably not. It's probably more for Roots and All, which is our kind of, the rootsy, folky show. For what it is, if that's your style, sweet. But as it probably doesn't have too much of a wider appeal, which is fine, Niche markets are fantastic. Yeah.
I think it's a listener. I don't think you can critique a song like that in 10 seconds and we fast forward it. It's something you sit and listen to and give it a chance. There's some songs that poppy, like Psy, we can critique in 10 seconds, but maybe that's something we should give a bit more time to.
Yeah, it's not really a radio song.
Yeah.
Maybe, if you get stoned, that is your music.
Nikki, did you want to say anything?
I do not condone drugs at all. Nor does the ABC.
I was born yesterday. I tell you how I feel, but I don't have a lot to say. We go out and forget what we did today. We go out just to find a place to stay. You got me insane about the way I walk. Everybody's talking about the way I talk. You got me insane about the way I walk. Everybody's talking about the way I talk.
Vines-esque springs to mind.
Pub rock. That's another one. Probably James Young at Cherry Bar would be keen to book, I think.
It's good to hear some rock.
Yeah, nice to hear rock and
all
roll.
the acoustic guitars. It was good. Yeah, no, I got to the chorus really quickly when I was tapping along. It's great.
Yeah, production-wise, not the best, I think, but I think the energy was in there that kind of, you could see past the production.
Yeah, there was a bit of personality.
It suited the genre, though, like the style of production was dirty and energetic.
But the walk and talk lyrics, I kept thinking of that Phil Collins tune.
What's that? Oh, the Phil Collins
Yeah.
tune? Which
Like,
one?
was it Phil Collins? Walk and talk? I don't know.
Certainly not No Jacket Required circa 1984, no.
Well, nothing ever will be.
Martin?
Weirdly, I wouldn't iron to that. But you mentioned Phil Collins, and I just went to boop 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 boop. You know, I was lost in that.
It's got promise. I mean, you look at a band like Kingswood coming out of Melbourne, who's just taking off across the country. Australia always, I think, has a soft spot for bands that you could go see at a pub and then have a beer with afterwards. And yeah, there's promise in that. I mean, I'd have to hear it again. On first listen, I was like, oh, is there a bit of energy sucked out when the chorus comes in, because of that, that verse just kind of rockets along, and then there's like a break, and I felt like somebody actually put like the foot on the brake before the chorus came in. I mean, that's a bit of like a songwriting critique, and I'm like the shittest songwriter around, so you'd probably want to ask the producers on the panel.
Pause at the start of the chorus.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good or a bad thing is...
Yeah, I'd have to hear it a couple more times. But, yeah, good energy in that song.
You want to hear it a couple more? times.
Yeah. Will you get up and mosh around?
Yeah, I'll get up and I'll
Air
iron the
iron.
shit out of that.
I like that one, whoever's it was. Nice. My piranha.
Well done, sounded good.
You on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? No EPs to sell?
Yeah, it was going somewhere.
It was just about to get there, I think. Just about to get there. I like that wordplay at the start. That was interesting, I thought. But I think that bass line put me off a bit. It felt a bit unformed, I think. A bit raw. But obviously, not bad for a demo.
This might sound really mean. I'm not trying to be mean, but I tuned out.
Oh,
Sorry, it was like, oh yeah, and then mind wandered.
The band just sounded a little bit green, I think. Maybe it was like the drums and the bass weren't melding. There wasn't much interesting going on with the drums, but the voice was kind of clear and strong, and just practice a bit, maybe.
All right.
Sorry, is that person here?
He sounds like a female. So.
You and me, baby, we got something that people all the time spent with you, oh, it makes me feel alive. Like the birds and the bees, we will fly free. Even miles apart, you're always at the back of my mind.
Lead break there, I think.
Sound the drummer and the guitarist are having to fight on stage.
I thought that sounded fun. Good visual lyrics. It's always good.
Pretty unclear.
Strong.
Couldn't really hear. It just felt very complex and busy.
Yeah, I can't tell this because the speakers are facing that way, aren't they? Yeah. So we're getting yeah, because I was like, it just sounds a bit messy, but then I'm like, well, actually, maybe it's just because we're not hearing the speakers straight on.
Yeah, vocals a bit muddy, but I like the rest of it. Kind of, spaghetti western garage. I mean, there's stuff that you want to give encouragement to, and with Unearth, we've got the radio station that plugs into the website, and there's stuff that is obviously not quite there and is not ready for Triple J, but it's stuff that we want to give a shot and encourage and say, look, this is good. We see potential here. Give it some airplay and give it a little push. Not the biggest one, but enough of one to say keep going. And maybe we'll probably do that with that.
I like that 60s psychedelic rock. I don't think enough bands are doing it. It's my cup of tea anyway.
I thought that it was falling off a cliff. It was kind of dangerous. And I think that if the drum... I don't correct stuff in the studio and I don't auto-tune. I like when things collide and form their own thing. So I wouldn't want to correct it, but the drums weren't helping,
Okay, so sack your drummer and then you'll be all right now.
16 years old.
16, very good.
Then
Where
it was
are
awesome.
you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was recording in a bedroom with mattresses soundproofing.
We'd never know.
Cool.
I think that's
I'd say just practice more and just nail it and then dial it back and fuck it up deliberately. And there was a great energy, but when it falls off the cliff, it took everything with it, and it's a real fine balance, you know. If you listen to early Gang of Four and you take it all apart, it's all over the place, but you put it together and it works.
Molto encouragement to you a lot. I was really getting into that. Seriously? I liked it.
What happens in 2 more seconds? The chorus. How could it possibly be any better than it already was?
Now, why a midnight? What are you waiting for? Come and take you around the world. I'm not excited without my teeth. You own a piece of me.
So you lost me at the chorus.
You just fucked up so badly. Like you're a TV presenter and you're like, oh, this is fucking great.
Yeah, this is good.
There was your quote, and now it's you lost me at the ... You lost me at the chorus.
I think I liked it more for their enthusiasm. It's good to have some personality.
Yeah, it is with the chorus like that. You need some fucking personality. Sorry.
Thought everyone could play their instrument pretty well. It was recorded well, good guitar tones. Not something I'd listen to, but that's just personal taste. But it seemed to tick all the boxes in that kind of genre, I guess.
Would have liked to have heard the vocals louder, bit more clarity in those. Yeah.
Dave, Chelsea?
Yeah, I think when it picks up, it's quite good. I think the slow part and the intro doesn't really do you any favours. I think you sort of lose that and just keep the energy up. That's what really was had the most potential for me.
I'd be interested in hearing more.
Sorry, what was that?
I'd be interested in hearing, like the rest of the record. If it's from a record.
Early 90s. Does anyone agree with me? I'm hearing early 90s like Verve, but with an American vocal.
Yeah,
Isn't just Australia 10 years behind the time? Is that
certainly illustrating that point there?
Sorry.
Yeah, Dom mentioned Kingswood earlier, really sort of kicking off a second coming, third, fourth coming of rock in Australia, and maybe that would fit along with it. I don't think it's anything startlingly new. But, probably good live and sounded pretty tough.
Yeah, it was a little bit average, sorry. Wasn't pushing any boundaries, I think it's fair to say.
think a bit of that would be to do with the production too. The production especially sounded pretty dated.
All right.
Sunshine on my face. It's been such a long time. There's a fire in my mind. There's a new girl in my place. Sitting here waiting for the morning. Those peaky little waves are they calling. I can't wait. Sunshine. Turn up the radio.
Dom, it was you earlier that mentioned Busby Marou.
Yeah, that's look, it's not my cup of tea. It's yeah. Look, I've been grappling with this a lot lately, and maybe it's because I get thousands of CDs a week. And let me preface by saying I'm not a songwriter, but I hear a lot, and you know, probably all the stuff we've heard today. It's nothing new. It's everything we've heard. You've probably heard somebody on the panel reference someone else and go, it sounds like this, or it sounds like that, or it sounds like that. And like I said before, it all comes down to why you want to do music. If your ultimate goal is to be Australia's biggest act, you've got to try to find a point of difference. And what about Jet? Well, Jet had a point of difference because they were doing something different for the time. You can say that, but they became big, so...
That doesn't make them different, though.
No, and look, okay, look, fair enough.
We're not here to argue about Jet. Let's talk about...
I think...
why they became successful. Let's talk about...
I mean, I listen back to records like Odelay. I listen to the first Girling record. I hear that late period of the 90s when there was this idea that we'd run out of new things, and it seemed like artists were just desperate to try to write the next thing, to sound futuristic. And somewhere along the line, we decided that we would just try to mine what's been done before and replicate. If Mumford & Sons are famous, then let's do bluegrass. If Fleet Foxes are famous, let's do pastoral folk. And yeah, it concerns me that we are getting to a point where people just aren't looking for something different. That is, of course, a bigger, broader philosophical debate, which, if you want to buy me a couple of pints, I will talk your ear off about it. And everyone we've heard, and I do a lot of these panels across the country, and I hear a lot of shit. And it's buoyed me to hear that this stuff isn't shit. Like, this is good stuff, and there's people who know how to play their instruments and write a decent song. But there's something... You know, those great artists are great because they write the great songs. And what I've heard, everyone's got that potential, and I really think the take-home message is to find your point of difference and, you know, lift the game and have a listen around and have a listen to what's getting played on Triple J, see what's being signed, see what's playing at the festivals, and go, I need to be that good. And that's ultimately, for someone like me, when I'm putting my program together, I look at what I play and I go, okay, in a listener's mind, is the little band from Geelong, you know, are they on the same level as a Gorcha or a Silverchair? Because in the minds of a listener, when you play something on radio, that's essentially what you're saying. You're lifting these things on a pedestal and going, okay, these are all at the same level.
Dom, I love what you're saying, but we've got a shitload of stuff here to get
through. So it happens when you have 2 coffees in a day.
I'd actually like to bounce off of that. I think, I said yesterday, success is like bad gas or appendicitis. It's internal. And the minute you externalize it, looking for a good review or a great rating from us, you're fucked. Do your own thing. And if it's happening between you and an audience of more than 5, keep doing it and build your audience. And what the fuck do we know? You know, what do you, if you're looking to us for some answers, you're fucked. I mean, sorry, it's between you and your audience.
I think don't be afraid to have a personality. I mean, if you look at a festival lineup and think, oh, wow, I want to be the next whatever band, well, that band's already there. You know, there's no point going, I want to do an album that's just like Gaudio, well, we've already got him. Or I want to be the next Kimbra, we've already got Kimbra. So do your own thing.
All right, we've got time for probably 2 more, so... Unique.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of that on to the panel today, and you know, it was really good to hear. I really love pop music, and that sounded really good. There's a fine line with pop music where it's cheesy and where it's unique, and I think that I want to hear more of that to figure out where that fits, because there's sort of a toy aspect vibe to it, but the voice is really nice too, and the production sounded good as well. So I'm keen.
Forrester, from a producer point of view, is that something where you think I'd like to work with that kind of person?
Yeah, it sounded very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I do like the use of the interesting percussion elements and the way she's using her voice. I kind of feel that it maybe had a little bit of Kimbra going on there, but yeah, definitely hinted at something that I'd like to hear more of. Yeah.
I had this strange thought that there was a sped up sample from Pink Floyd's Money in there. Did anybody else?
Yeah,
I'm like, holy
crap.
crap.
Hear the jingle jangle, the toy.
Yeah, it sounded like
Register.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I
Good
like
voice.
that one a lot.
Hey!
So you got what you wanted, and you got us in 45 seconds. You did the job. Unique.
You retract everything you say about the past songs, don't you now?
Everything you said in your last sentence.
Can
that
you
was
do it in 12
right there.
seconds though?
So well done.
Do you have a good dance to go with it?
Well, I've wandered and I've pondered. I've considered the rest, and I belong with you.
I belong with you.
Across the 7 seas, nobody disagrees. In all capacities, you belong with me.
I belong with you.
Look, that's not really my thing, but I want to say that girl voice really took me by surprise, and that kept me interested. Just something a little familiarity, and as we've said, like, you know, that can be good in songs, but you get that little tweak of something that's just a little different. And that girl voice came in, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hold on a sec, is this a duet? Like, no problem. Yeah, so I like that. Like when you just twist the idea of the song and keep that listener guessing.
If we're quick, we can fit in a few more.
There was going to be like a female-male, chorus there, but we didn't get there.
As in, you didn't get time to record it, or we didn't get there.
There was going to be a female-male voice, duet happening, but we didn't get there.
Duets are popular.
Yeah, well, we could listen to it if you wanted. That's all I'm saying.
You selling any?
Yeah, totally. Of course. Don't be prepared.
This love is changing on me. That's alright, I guess, 'cause I can't make you out.
play it.
You play it.
Yep. These Urges. Fox Road. Right? Yep. There you go. It's a great
Nice
song.
voice.
It's a good chorus too. Really good.
Forrester, Nikki, Chelsea, Indra.
I think the vocals were really nice. It didn't sound forced. It wasn't too frilly. It was just simple and clean and in tune. Didn't sound like there was anything sort of overly processed about it. It's nice.
Martin, you got anything to say?
No.
No?
It was nice. This seems like, is this like a cross section of what's going on? Because it sounds like there's a thing going on.
Yeah.
Of like
feel the same thing.
Singer-songwriter-y, laid-backy, acoustic.
Yeah, thanks Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, I'm getting heaps of this kind of stuff at work.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think it's a certain type of artist who comes to these conferences. I notice it a lot. I've been doing these for 4 years. I think I've got one hip hop song ever. Never a dance song. It's just I think it's the kind of artist, so it's a bit of an inflated representation. But you're right, like that's definitely in vogue in Australia, which again makes it that much harder to rise above because there is so much.
Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. We've kept it, it's been very radio heavy.
Can't we do one more? Surely we can do one more.
One more? Can we do one more? Are we allowed? Push
Shit,
one
I
more?
was being sarcastic.
No? You guys have got homes to go to, haven't you?
I like your system and your modem too. I've got no time for all your drug addicted rock stars. A repetition of overkill men. So tell me who needs a 12-step. You can't save yourself. Digital house.
It's nice to leave on a high.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Martin, come on.
I liked it. Sounded
I liked it.
dangerous. Sounded dangerous, which is what I liked about it.
It's a good contrast to all the stuff most of the stuff we've been listening to. So had lots of energy. It's great.
Yeah, of all the stuff we've heard today, I think it's the rock stuff that's really appealed to me, more so.
Yeah, let's do it.
And your one, your piece. In summing up, let's sum up from a production point of view. Martin?
They all sounded great.
But there is a theme going on, the singer-songwriter theme.
Differentiate yourself, bond with your audience, find your audience, and just keep doing what works and don't do what doesn't.
Push the boat out, I think, was another piece of advice. Dare to be different. Think about radio, but also think about production as well. Forrester?
Well, I kind of sense that everything moves in cycles. Like 10 years ago, it was the retro rock thing. It was really popular. And now it feels like there's a folk indie thing really going on. It seems to be really strong. So you need to be... And maybe like a couple of years ago, it was the 80s synth thing. So I just think you need to be preempting the style or the shift of what radio is going to be finding popular. I mean, obviously bands dictate what that's going to be and what you're doing. So I think if you're trying to start a folk indie band, now is probably not the time. You probably want to be looking ahead to something different.
Thank you very much for your time and for submitting your demos and letting us critique them.
Yeah, can we give a round of applause to the people who put their stuff up?
And most of all, good luck with your career.